All right, let's just jump right in. What if you could get better at, well, pretty much any skill you can think of? And I'm not just talking about, learning to play the guitar. We're talking about boosting your creativity, fixing your sleep schedule, even getting out of that nasty habit of overthinking. It sounds wild, right? Well, today, we're going to dive into a pretty fascinating system from Mahmoud Ghazal. It's called Sosni, and it claims to do all of that and then some.
And boom, right out of the gate, we get hit with this, just an incredibly bold claim. This isn't your typical self-help talk. The source material is literally talking about breaking through what we think are our limits. And that just makes you stop and ask, right? Like first, what in the world is Nine technology? And second, how could it possibly make impossible things possible?
I mean, the scope here it's just massive. We're not talking about some little program that helps you with one specific thing. No. According to the source, Sosna's Najni is framed as this universal system. It's apparently designed to upgrade, well, everything, from how you perform at your job all the way down to the most basic habits you have every single day.
So the natural next question is, okay, what kind of skills are we really talking about here, right? If a system says it can improve anything, you want to know what that actually means. The source material breaks it all down into a few main categories, and trust me, some of these are going to make you raise an eyebrow. Okay, so first on the list, you've got your high-stakes professional skills. We're talking about athletes, actors, singers, and then it just says all jobs or works, so pretty much everything. But then, look at that last one, armies of countries. Whoa, that's what really caught my eye. It just shows you the incredible ambition behind this whole thing right from the get-go. So after tackling the outside world of performance, the whole system kind of turns inward. It starts focusing on our own minds, our own psychology. The claim is that it can help you build a stronger personality, ramp up your creativity, and, this is the one that gets me, help you break free from things like overthinking or negative thoughts. I know, the big how question is getting louder. We're getting there, I promise.
And this slide, right here, really shows you just how deep this whole thing claims to go. It's not just about the big, complex stuff. It's about rebuilding the very foundation of your life. We're talking about how you eat, how you sleep, even how you move and how you sound. The goal here really seems to be about building a better you, starting from square one.
Okay, so we've covered the what, and it's a pretty wild list of skills, right? Almost hard to believe. But now for the million-dollar question, the how. How does this system supposedly do all this? This is where we get into the really unique stuff, the method behind Sornas Noni. So the whole approach, as it's laid out in the source material, is actually based on a spiritual framework. It describes two different ways to go about this. The first way is for, quote, skills without miracles. And that comes from what's called a public relationship with Allah. But then you have the second path, and this is where it gets really deep. This is for skills with miracles, and it's achieved through a private relationship, a connection that's described as being as prophets. Now, for anyone who's looking for healing from what the source calls psychological or physical diseases, it lays out this three-step process. First, you learn how to ask Allah for help. Then you bring in some simple physical movements. And finally, you start applying new psychological skills on top of that. It's presented as this really complete package, something that takes care of your mind, your body, and your spirit all at once. And this brings us right back to that crazy claim from the very beginning. Remember that phrase, the tools of news technology? We've seen the spiritual side of it, but what is this tool? What's the secret ingredient that supposedly makes the impossible happen? Well, it's time to find out. So here it is. NAI stands for Natural Intelligence. But just look at that definition. This isn't an app on your phone. It's not some gadget. It's not AI. It's called a technology to be activated between people. That's really interesting, right? It sounds like it's some kind of deep connection between people, almost like a shared awareness that's supposed to unlock all this potential. And hey, if you're curious and want to go down this rabbit hole yourself, the source actually gives two specific social media handles to check out. You've got @Human4B, which is the personal account of the creator, Mahmoud Ghazal, and then there's @Sosna, which is for the work itself. So, you can go look them up.
This quote really sums up the whole philosophy behind the system perfectly. Build your ideas before building muscles. It's such a simple but powerful idea, right? It's saying that real, long-lasting strength, it doesn't start with weights. It starts in your head. Your ideas are the foundation for absolutely everything else. So if this were a service you were using, how would it work? Well, it's broken down into this really simple three-part cycle. First, you learn the ideas. Then, you watch results. You track what's actually changing. And finally, you tweak things. You fix the results based on what you saw. It's meant to be this constant loop of learning and improving.
But the ultimate goal, the big vision behind Sosnesny, it's huge. It's world-changing. This mission statement from back in 2021 talks about a goal to, and I'm quoting here, program the minds of all peoples with good ideas and views. And why? So we can live in peace without problems and diseases. I mean, that is a massive, massive ambition, to put it lightly.
But here's the twist. Even with this huge global ambition and the offer of guidance, the system puts all the power and all the responsibility right back on you, on the individual. That seems to be the one core rule that you can't get around.
And this quote right here is what it all comes down to. The guide Mohammed Ghazal is super clear about this. He says he's not the cure, he's just an aid. The message couldn't be more direct. Real change, real healing, it has to come from inside you. You have to be your own first doctor.
And so that kind of leaves us with this big final question to think about. We live in a world where we're always looking outside for answers, right? We want the expert, the app, the quick fix for our problems. So what does it actually mean to be your own first doctor? It's a really interesting question, and it kind of makes you rethink what self-improvement is all about, and maybe what we're all capable of.